The Kanwar Yatra, an annual pilgrimage to Haridwar by Lord Shiva's devotees, is mired in controversy. While the Yatra is set to start after more than a week, it has already hit headlines with allegations of identity checks, segregation and intolerance. A controversy erupted in Uttar Pradesh after a Muslim man named Tajammul was discovered working at a dhaba in Muzaffarnagar using the name Gopal. Tajammul claims the dhaba owner had advised him to take a Hindu name for protection from possible backlash.
बैग तार दी थी देखो मेरी क्या नाम इतना बड़ा तार
आपको नाम क्यों आपको जब नाम बदलने की बात कही तो तुमने क्यों सोचा क्यों नहीं कि गलत
नाम देखो नाम उन्होंने रखा था मेरा नाम
होटल वालों ने.
After protest, the dhaba was shut down. Now a campaign by Hindu group is underway to verify names, religions and identities of people working at shops and dhabas along the Kanwar Yatra route.
होटल ढाबे चाय की दुकान मिठाई की दुकान जूस की दुकान है वहां पर भगवान वाराह का चित्र लगाना और भगवा झंडा लगाना ये हमारा विषय है. यदि हम कहीं धोखे से चले गए भाई वहां शिव ढाबा है गणेश ढाबा है राम श्री कृष्ण ढाबा है यदि वहां चले गए फिर हमें पता लगा भाई ये तो सनातन धर्म के लोगों का ढाबा नहीं संचालन तो इसके मुस्लिम करते हैं तो फिर हम वहां से वापिस आ जाएंगे.
अगर वहाँ खाना सात्विक मिल रहा हो
नहीं वह वापिस आ जाएंगे और पुलिस को सूचना दे देंगे भाई आप अपना इनको संभालो पुलिस अपने आप देखेंगे.
In Muzaffarnagar, people claiming to be Shiv Sena workers took to streets and began scanning UPI apps of dhaba owners to confirm which religion they belonged to. They justified their actions, citing a viral video and accused Muslims of disrespecting their faith. But when asked whether Muslims should be allowed to run dhabas, they dodged the question.
क्या क्या चेक होता है?
हमें आपके मिर्च मसाले और आदमी कौन कौन रह रहे हैं आपके यहाँ पे सारी चीज चेक होती है.
नाम हम पूछा उन्होंने
जी लाइसेंस वगैरह सब चीज देखते हैं.
तो आप लोगों ने लगा रखा है नाम पहचान
सब है जी. हाँ जी सारा टोटल काम.
तो कुछ आके पूछते थे क्या करते कब?
ये बोलते थे कि कुछ लहसुन प्याज वगैरह नहीं है सिर्फ सिंपल शादी हरी खाना है.
आप लोगों के बारे में पूछताछ किसी तरह की?
नहीं सर हमारे बारे में तो कुछ नहीं है वैसे मतलब कि बोलते थे तुम कैसे मतलब कि कैसे खाना पीना खिलाते हो मगर सर अच्छी तरह खिलाते हैं.
The identity checks are not new. Since 2024, there have been reports of roadside eateries being monitored, names being scrutinized, and ownerships being questioned. Despite the Supreme Court's intervention to stop this practice, calling it a violation of fundamental rights. As preparations pick up pace, dhaba owners on the Delhi-Haridwar route are repainting their shops, putting up rate cards, saffron flags, and even their own photos declaring their identities. While some Kawadiyas say they prefer eating only at Hindu-owned shops that serve only Sattvic food, others say faith is very personal. As long as the food is good and vegetarian, the religion of the cook should not matter.
खाने में कांवड़ यात्रियों के लिए भोले के लिए नाम और धर्म जरूरी है या खाना महत्वपूर्ण होता है? क्या सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है?
नाम भी जरूरी है. खाना तो ऐसे हम कहीं खा नहीं सकते अपना ईमान भ्रष्ट हो जाएगा. जा रहे हैं बाबा के दरबार पे तो ऐसी वैसी जगह खा भी नहीं सकते.
On the ground, pressure is mounting. Muslim shopkeepers are preparing to shut down during the yatra. Year after year, they receive unofficial instructions to close or cover their signs. What follows is quiet compliance in the face of growing fear.
What I'm being told by these workers that administrative officials, the police, food and safety departments often taking stock of the situation, taking visit, checking their the supplies, ensuring hygiene for the pilgrims, but more importantly also questioning the identities, the people, the workers those are working here, their identities are being checked, and more importantly these kind of scanners that are placed all over these eateries, they're also scanning these scanners to get the identities checked, who does it belongs to.
Is the Kanwar Yatra being used to tear the social fabric of India? The Yatra, once a spiritual journey, is now becoming a reflection of the polarization in society. With Ashutosh, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so what's happened at the back of it is also massive political commentary coming in. Listen in to the former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh.
पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में हाहाकार एक तरीके से मचा हुआ और कहा जा रहा है जो कांवड़ यात्रा निकल रही है नाम लेकर सरकार कह रही नाम तो लिखना ही पड़ेगा फिर चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए।
ये सरकार हमेशा नाटक करती है। सरकार को पता है और सरकार ये दावा करती है कि वो धार्मिक सरकार है। ये धार्मिक सरकार की जिम्मेदारी बनती थी कि कांवड़ यात्रियों को जो भगवान के प्रति इस आस्था के साथ सावन के महीने में शिव मंदिर में या अपने स्थान से जाकर के पानी चढ़ाते हैं, गंगा जल लेकर के आते हैं। और ये कोई पहली बार नहीं हो रहा है। जो भी सरकार उस समय होती है उसकी जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि उनको सुविधा और सुरक्षा दें। इस सरकार की नाकामी यही है कि पिछले 11 साल में केंद्र सरकार की में और अभी तक के 9 साल की सरकार में उनके लिए सुविधाएं क्यों नहीं दी। वही पुराना घिसा पिटा रटा रटाया हिंदू वाहिनी के लोग, विश्व हिंदू परिषद लोग, आरएसएस पीछे से, बीजेपी के लोग पीछे से, केवल टारगेट करना वोट उन्हें कैसे मिले, डिवीजन कैसे करें। ये नकारात्मक लोग हैं, ये नेगेटिव सोच के लोग हैं। काम किया नहीं इन्होंने। इनको किसने रोका था। आप ये कहते हो कि दिल्ली से देहरादून उन्होंने एक्सप्रेस वे बनाया है, 4 लेन सड़क बनाने जा रहे हैं, तो आप उनकी सुविधा के लिए जिससे सुरक्षित मार्ग बन सके और आस्था और जो परंपराएं हैं उनको पूरी पवित्रता के साथ निभा सकें, उसके लिए आपने एक व्यवस्थित यात्रा के लिए पथ क्यों नहीं बनाया, एक सड़क क्यों नहीं बनाई। ये तो जिम्मेदारी सरकार की थी और नाकामी सरकार की इस तरह छिपाना चाहते हैं। हिंदू मुसलमान नाम बताइए, आप क्या है, आपकी ये क्या है। ये लोग वही लोग हैं जो भगवान की जाति ढूंढ रहे थे, आज धर्म के आधार पर बांटना चाहते हैं। असली अगर धोखा किसी ने दिया है कांवड़ यात्रियों को तो इन्हीं सरकार के लोगों ने दिया। वहाँ डीएम, एसपी, कमिश्नर, चीफ सेक्रेटरी, डीजीपी क्या कर रहे थे लोग, फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर क्या कर रहे थे। इनका इतना भी पैसा नहीं है कि 150-200 किलोमीटर का एक सुविधाजनक सुरक्षित आस्था से, जो पवित्रता से, अपने श्रद्धा से यात्रा कर सकें।
All right, viewers, before we cut across to our panelists this evening, questions that we are asking. Making shopkeepers display their names, is it in complete violation of the Supreme Court order of 2024? Not just display their names, viewers. Display the names of the workers, the staffers, the waiters, the cooks as well of the particular eatery. The second question we ask, is this blatant religious profiling conducted in the name of food safety department checks? Because that is what the administration is stating while allowing a practical free hand to fringe groups coming in and doing random checks along the Kavadiya route. And finally, is this all an attempt to normalize discrimination in the name of faith? Let's cut across to our guest this evening. Joining us, Dr. Kaushal Kant Mishra, spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson, Samajwadi Party; Ashutosh, author, political analyst; Shantanu Gupta, political analyst and author. All of you will get 2 minutes each to put your points forward. I want to begin with the BJP spokesperson. Sir, the sheer fact that not just that an individual was asked to remove his trousers, but that there are a reporter has been on ground for the last 24 hours, so I speak out of context, where he encountered not one, not two, but multiple, in the tens, self-proclaimed vigilante groups that are hopping from one dhaba to the other and checking identity of not just the names of the owners of that particular eatery, but those who cook there, those who serve there. How is it correct?
Preeti, first of all, we have to understand there are certain constitutional rights provided to every citizen of the country, which includes Article 25-26, that is right to free and fair religious practice, Food Safety Standard Act 2006, Right to Information Act 2005, PUCL versus Government of India, choice of food is a fundamental right. These are the constitutional rights provided to every citizen of the country. So every citizen has full right and legal right to know what he is eating, what is the purity, what is the sanctity, whether the religious faith is preserved by that food or not. This is one. Two, everybody is asking, there are fringe groups acting and checking the food quality. There are multiple NGOs working on the environment, on the river, on the multiple things, on the childbirth, on the female literacy rate, education. In the same way, if the few religious group are practicing, it is a fundamental duties under our constitution after 42nd amendment in 1976, article 51A part 4A, which section F, I am telling everything, quoting why they can check. Section F, the value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. So they can check whether their religious culture is preserved or not. Second, to develop the scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform. So everything by the constitution, anybody can go and check what he is eating, what is their fundamental right. Everybody is free to exercise their duties. But yes, if somebody is having the name Abdul, but name plate is Gopal, it is a clear violation. If the name is Kana Sham and the owner is Salman Qureshi, it may be a controversial issue.
Sir, your time is up. But Mr. Kaushal,
yes,
your time is up and I'll circle back to you. But it's really interesting because you try to give a full classic class on the Indian constitution and the guarantees it gives, not just fringe players, these are thugs, Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra, who are not going and checking whether food is correct. These are thugs who are forcing their way into eateries to check the names of not the owner and even why the owner of the establishment, the waiters who are serving the people there, the cooks who are cooking the food there. What part of the constitution gives them the right to do so? You're a doctor, I'm sure you know better, but I'll come around and have this conversation with you later. I want to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari, spokesperson Samajwadi Party. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the contrarian view in all of this is that, this is a pious time of faith and everybody should be allowed and not be tricked into eating a particular meal which they did not bargain for.
Good evening, Preeti, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. There are three important things. One, the backdrop. We have our chief minister who, prior to becoming chief minister, had hateful charges against him. He himself led a vigilante group. That is his claim to fame. We have a government that was formed in 2022 with the backdrop of 80-20 election, batenge katenge. We have a party where the Prime Minister stands up and calls the opposition campaign as Mujra. We have a party where the Prime Minister wants to identify people by their clothes. We have a party where the Chief Minister has created a new spirit in the party saying batenge katenge. This is the backdrop. Part 2. BJP has far too long used the word jihad with so many different identities, from food to Kalawa to so many other things, as if the J in BJP stands for jihad, not Janta. Point number 3. This is a complete violation of the Supreme Court order. It is a complete violation of the constitution, the spirit, where the BJP leaders today want the vigilante group to visit a dhaba, which is typically sustaining the livelihood of 5-10 poor people, not the crony capitalists that BJP serves, but these poor people, and they want to know their religion. What if the dhaba was invested by a foundation that is run by Azim Premji, who's the leader of, who is the entrepreneur behind Wipro? So in that scenario, would you say that this dhaba is a Muslim dhaba? How does the identity of an individual who owns a share in an enterprise become the religion of that particular enterprise? And how does the religion of those who work there impact somebody's sattvic nature? If BJP is so particular in sattvic nature, then by now in the trains that we have and the aeroplanes that we have, the food should be marked sattvic. Kaushal and Shantanu and many other people have traveled to flights. Not once have this is their hypocrisy. Not once have they pointed out that the food is not sattvic. The hypocrisy is to ensure that the poison and this disease continues in society and enables vigilante to trouble.
So your time is up. I'll circle back to you. I just want to hark back to Mr. Kaushal and sir, I'll come back to you with it. But in the meanwhile, maybe you'd like to check Article 15, paragraph 1, where the Indian Constitution prohibits on any ground discrimination based on religion where economy and economics is concerned. I just want to, I'll hark back to you. I want to bring in our other panelist, Shantanu Gupta, political analyst and author. Shantanu Gupta, all of this played out last year exactly at the same time where the Supreme Court had to step in with multiple PILs that were found. And we'll give out the, exact wordings of what the Supreme Court said. said. Because if you actually read that, it's very clear. Where the Food Act is concerned, you're allowed very clearly that each and every eatery needs to have a license. The license, of course, will have a name. Other than the food license, to ask for names of restaurant owners, to ask for names of cooks, of waiters, how do you think that flies? Do you not think it's discriminatory?
Preeti, I'm sure your viewers know that how pious a yatra, Kanwar Yatra is. Kanwar Yatris walk miles and miles together, bare feet in most of the cases, carry very heavy kanwar in their hands. And in the process, they want to eat the food they want to eat. In Sanatan tradition, there is a very, very nuanced and finer distinction among food. What's a sattvic food, what's a rajasic food, and what's a tamasic food. It seems it's said that when a person is sick, when the person is not in good mood, even the person should not cook food. Even if you see Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, you have nuances of how the food should be cooked. And at least when they are in a vrat or in a yatra like Kanwar Yatra, they want to eat food. They just want a choice that don't be imposter. If you are Abdul, put a Abdul Dhaba. Don't call me a Vaishnav Dhaba and you are, I want, maybe I, as you also shown, some people may be fine with it. Just give me a choice. Don't be imposter. Which we see in the love jihad case also. By the name Chintu Pintu, you marry a Hindu girl, later the girl realizes that he is a Muslim. Here also I enter a dhaba, Vaishnav dhaba, Shiv dhaba, thinking in mind it's done using the Hindu tradition. Then you realize, oh my God, the owner is a Muslim, cook is a Muslim, I don't want to eat the food. That's my choice. You can't force my choice. In the similar case, I am sure you know what halal is, right? Halal is when a Muslim has to cut the meat, reading the kalma, and that's fine even in a McDonald's. That's fine. But when a Hindu wants, okay, I want that I should know the cook, that's a problem. Just give him a choice. Just put your name. Don't be imposter. That's all. Whatever your name, just display it. What's the problem in hiding the identity? In Shops and Establishment Act, in GST Act, anyway you have to put GST and owner's name and the proprietor's name if it's a proprietor firm. So I know why, and one last thing, the claim to fame of Yogi Adityanath is, if Ghanshyam doesn't know, because he's a 5-time member of parliament. His attendance is 80-85%, when Akhilesh Yadav attendance was 33% in the parliament. He's winning exponential margin when even BJP is not winning election properly in 2004 and 2009. Right? That's his claim to fame. And he's the only chief minister.
So your time is up and I'll circle back to you. But before that, without the timer, I want to just ask you one question, Mr. Gupta, because you give a very detailed point of view of what a Sanatani really means. Are you a Sanatani, Mr. Gupta? Is it a personal question that I can ask you?
I'm saying I may have my own choice, but I also want to know. I also want to know where I'm eating, who's the cook.
So Mr. Gupta, when you walk into a 5-star hotel, a restaurant, or a Haldiram, do you actually ask the waiter's name and who's cooked your food? It's a question, sir.
If I have any doubt, I may not end up eating the food.
So I'm asking you a question. Do you ask for the name of the man who's serving you or who's cooked the food in a restaurant or a Haridwar or a Haldiram where you go for maybe a Navratra thali?
Change the marquee over the Shantanu Gupta's food habits. I will come to answer that. We are talking about
a Kanwar Yatra. No, sir, it's not. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you, no. Let me give a larger perspective to our viewers. No, it's not about Shantanu Gupta's. No, sir, it's not about Shantanu Gupta's or X, Y, and Z's food habits or Preeti's food habits.
You're fine with a McDonald's showcasing a halal certificate.
No. 1 second, sir. 1 second. Don't divert the topic. The topic is this is the politics of the. This is politics played on the poor. Because those today who continue to propagate how these names should be put are the ones who will walk into restaurants, who will sit in Haldiram, eat those Navratra thalis without caring on who has cooked that food or who is serving that food. Try asking that name of that waiter in a 5-star hotel, sir. This is politics of the poor.
Don't be an imposter.
This is politics of the poor. You will, sir, most people today who are pushing the cause of asking the name of a waiter, a poor man who's coming and serving you the food, or the person who's cooking the food, or where it's coming from, will dare not ask the name of a waiter or a cook at a 5-star hotel or a regular restaurant.
You know, if you go to any good cafe, they put their names also. In 5-star hotels, they put their names.
Sir, it's rather amazing, but fine. I want to bring in Ashutosh into this conversation.
You did not get the point.
Ashutosh,
many would. That's I'm fine with.
Sir, you can comment on my IQ. I refuse to do that. You're free to do it. You are my guest. But it's a very basic. It's a very basic analysis, sir. It is a very basic analysis. The likes today who are propagating the cause, which is an abomination, which is religious discriminatory profiling, are the ones who will not say not a word will come out of them when they sit in restaurants or in five-star hotels. They will never ask for the name of the waiter or the person who's cooked the food. This is politics played in the name of poor. You can give it to my IQ, but that is what it is, sir. I want to bring in Ashutosh into this conversation. Allow me to come back to you. Allow me to come back to you. You're free to grade my IQ, sir. You're free to do it. You're my guest. You're free to do it. Ashutosh, to bring you in on this debate, there is a cause for concern which has led to what we see right now on the Kanwar route, where of what Shantanu said, the point he made on imposters. You are calling yourself a Vaishno Dhaba, but you're not a Vaishno Dhaba. Therefore, it has allowed that gap where you have not just the fringe players, but now a very open, accepted line of bigotry.
See, Preeti, I challenge these so-called Hindutva leaders to go to a five-star hotel and do the same thing. They have no guts to do that. They dare not enter any good restaurant. They will not go there. Because they are getting easy victims, and through them they are doing their politics in the name of Sanatan, as if they are the owner of the Sanatan religion. Probably they do not know in the ABCD of the Sanatan. Probably they have never read a good book on Gita and other things. But they have become the owners of the Sanatan religion. I pity on them. And don't bother about the IQ check. Because those who check others' IQs, their IQs the whole world knows. The fact of the matter is the state has withered away in UP. And that is why these forces, they have taken the task of the state and they are doing what they should not be doing. And this is an open violation of the Supreme Court order. And ideally, Supreme Court should have hauled up the UP government and should take them to the task. And the contempt proceeding should move against him. Not only him, but also, I was really amazed that somebody who is a lawyer and claims himself to be the lawyer and giving all kinds of things, probably knowing nothing, not a word of legal, not a word of L about the legal. This is a clear-cut case of using religion, victimizing poor, and giving all kinds of names. And don't talk about that 5 times he has won elections. I also know somebody who's called Sayyid Shahabuddin, how many times he won election. I also know somebody who cried in the parliament, on the floor of the parliament, with tears rolling through the eyes. I know that gentleman, I don't want to name him. But the fact of the matter is, you were also at one point of time victimized. Your time is up. And you cried.
I'm going to go back to the BJP spokesperson and I'll give you all your 2 minutes again. Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra, I want to take you back to, well, he's a Baba, or again, I will say whatever you might want to call him, but Yashvir Maharaj is what he's titled himself. He's the man with him and his other followers went and practically coerced to disrobe a waiter who, of course, had a different name. And they actually asked him to disrobe, to take his pants off. Where is this man right now? Nothing has happened to him. He tried to actually cross over to Uttarakhand to do the same. My colleague Ashutosh, who's our correspondent on ground, spoke with him. And he says he's done absolutely nothing wrong because this is his fight for Sanatan Dharma. When people like that get away, the messaging is very clear, Dr. Mishra.
Preeti, it is not about what he is. He may be Swami, he may be Baba, but he is an Indian citizen and he is exercising his constitutional duties and right.
1 second, I'm going to hold your timer.
Yes, please.
He's exercising his constitutional duties to disrobe someone, to tell them to take their pants off?
No, I'm not saying that. Checking the food, quality, standard.
You just said that, sir. I'm holding your timer. I'll give you equal time.
Preeti,
I will give you more time.
Preeti,
but allow me to ask you this question.
Yes, please ask.
Should he be asked to take out his dhoti to prove he's Hindu?
No, not at all. I'm not.
Then, by what account is he exercising his constitutional duty to ask somebody to disrobe, even if he has given a false name?
I am not saying this act is defendable. No, not at all. But checking the food quality is right, is duty. What is the problem in that? And you are quoting me, Ashutosh is quoting me the Supreme Court order. Please check the Supreme Court order.
Point number 3, until the reasonable date, we deem to appropriate to pass interim order prohibiting the enforcement of impulse directive. In other words, the food seller, including dhaba owners, restaurants, food and vegetable sellers, hawkers, etc., may be required to display their kind of food and what they are serving to the kavarias. What is the problem in that? It is directive. I am reading from the Supreme Court order.
But what is the point of this, sir? I'll hold your timer again. I'll ask you 2 questions because it's troubling with what you said.
Yes.
I'm holding it so you will get equal time. And I will give you more time. I'll ask you one question. You said he's exercised his fundamental right, right?
Yes.
By taking what action has been taken against Baba, whatever his name is, whatever that man is? What action has been taken by the administration, sir?
FIR
he is on record. He's on record admitting that he asked a man to disrobe himself to prove that he was Hindu. Has the administration till now taken any action against him? Yes or no?
Preeti, FIR has been filed.
It hasn't been filed against him, sir. I don't think you know. It hasn't been filed against him. Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra, understand? Please, sir. It hasn't been filed against him. It's been filed against his followers. Why not him? He was on ground.
Listen, I am not a person who has filed the FIR. It is the media report that FIR has been filed. So
you're quoting a wrong report. You are quoting a wrong report. Get your facts right, Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra.
Listen, I have said the FIR is filed against these activists who are checking this. So what is the problem in that? What is it is government is doing.
I'll tell you what the problem is, Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra. The person who's the reason why a man was disrobed. There is no FIR against him. That is the problem.
I'm not saying, Preeti, first of all, you are pointing out one point only, his illegality that he has disrobed somebody's dhoti. It is unconstitutional, it is wrong, I am against that. I am clearly saying that. But what is the cause? Why the Mr. Abdul, what is his name? Gopal, Abdul is putting his name as Gopal. And Preeti, the same question we have never asked about halal food. I'm not talking about halal food itself. Preeti, listen to me. There are Halal India, Halal Certifying Council, Jamaat Ulema, Muslim Personal Law Board. And what is their basic requirement? Processing, packaging, storage, labeling, supply, chain and delivery by the Muslim person. And it is not only to I am not saying halal meat, Preeti. I am very clear. I am not talking about the halal meat. I am talking about cosmetic, medicine, pharma, leather, paper, body care, housing society, even hospital. They are asking for halal and nobody is saying.
Kushal Kant Mishra, do you know, sir?
Yes,
sir, 1 second. Do you know
somebody?
Please. Do you know?
Please.
Mr. Som and his business? He is in your party only. Comes from your same state. Do you understand the kind of packaging his meat, which goes abroad, has?
So, what is the problem in that?
Do you know the name of that? Does it go with Mr. Som or is there
whosoever may be, if anybody
a Muslim name on it?
Listen to me. If my
name
is
I'm going to let it be. I'm going to let this be. I'll circle back to you. Allow me to bring in the others. No, sir. Allow me to bring in the others because this is an absurd conversation. I'll come back to you. And I promise you, I will give you your last say. But I'll come back to you. I want to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari into all of this. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the fact is, because things have been so polarized right now, and there is a sense, because it's not just the administration, there is a fear where even the cowards who are coming in, of course they are going to come in from the 11th of this month, but a few who are already coming in, my colleague on ground did speak to them and we had exactly the same playbook last year. Most of the cowards also echoed the same sentiment. So there is a popular sentiment on ground. You can't deny it.
Preeti, there are 3 things. One is that this popular sentiment built on propaganda, built on batenge katenge, built on vigilante, built on these thugs who go on and ask somebody to disrobe themselves. This popular sentiment is the power of BJP politics. This is why the man championing batenge katenge is the chief minister. This popular sentiment doesn't come into force when they want to go to the next level. What did the Supreme Court say? If I speak about the imposter syndrome, somebody talks about it, I'll tell you what imposter syndrome is. Imposter syndrome today has a face. That face is a man named Kiren Rijiju. Kiren Rijiju is the Minority Affairs Minister of India. The man is missing. The man has not said a word. Every time minorities in India are threatened, The imposter syndrome gets a face called Kiran Rijiju who goes missing. He has all other pravachan to give on different things, but he goes missing. Point number 3, that this model by which you want to ensure that people become untouchable is not a new model. The entire model of RSS, Manusmriti, the Samanti Soch, the chief minister saying that he's proud to practice the politics of Thakur and he's a Thakur himself, telling the jatis of various gods. This model of untouchability has been there in the same corridors of power, and they are extending this model of untouchability to Muslims, other minorities, because they have powers. Now by this model, they will say that if a Muslim has touched your food, you should not eat. If they have produced your clothes, you should not eat. I wonder if a person is injured on the road and they need blood donation, would Shantanu or Kaushal ask, tell me the religion and then I will give you blood? What a shame it is. It is a disease which is heinous. It is worse than a pandemic that BJP is propagating, that poisons the livelihoods of the poor and poisons the harmony of India. And if whether Prime Minister is today in the Batenge Katenge camp or Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas camp, I don't know, but he should.
Sir, your time is over. I'm going to go on to the other guest. But Dr. Kushal Kant Mishra, just to something to mull on. I'll come back to you in the end because maybe you think you haven't got your time. Mr. Sangeet Som had a meat processing unit. It was called Al-Dua and Al-Anam. Right? We'll just ponder over it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, by the way, but just ponder over it. I want to bring in Shantanu Gupta back into this conversation. Shantanu Gupta, is it the reason there is a present fear? In that context, you're correct. The Kanwars who come in and take this long journey, a lot of them have voiced and echoed that fear where they don't want to eat in certain eateries. And is that what is now being clearly exploited at a very different level?
It's not exploited. I think that's the choice of word. That's the choice of word. It's being facilitated for them. If you can go to Aaj Tak archives or India Today archives, before 2017, there are multiple fights that happened on the street because of this imposterness. That okay, and those days, this was not the days of Paytm, so you will realize only later in the day, okay, that the cook is a Muslim, and which Kanwars never agreed to. So government is there to cater to what public demands, and it's not something very illegal they demand. When we go to a McDonald's and ask for a halal certificate, that's perfectly fine. When I go to even a cement factory and ask for a halal certificate of a cement, that's perfectly fine. They won't ask, I only want a meat cut by a Muslim reading Kalma. Otherwise, I'll not eat that. That's also saying the same. I know what, it's the same equivalence. I'm not even doing whataboutery. Exactly for food, Muslims have a preference that only Muslims should cut it, and that too in a certain manner. Hindus are also saying the same, at least in Kanwar time. Okay, I want to eat food in a certain way. Just provide that. Don't be an imposter. अगर वैष्णव ढाबा है तो बता दीजिए, नहीं तो नाम लिख दीजिए अब्दुल ढाबा. वैष्णव ढाबा लिख के आप क्या करना चाह रहे हैं? What do you want to hide? Just tell the name. That's all they want to ask. That's all. And you know, I'll tell you one more point. These Kanwars that they're carrying, they're made of wood. A lot of Muslims of Jalapur made these Kanwars. They don't have a problem with that. Only the food which goes inside, they have this neatness, piousness about the food. Just give them what they want to eat and through whom they want to get it cooked. Don't be an imposter, that's all. It's not a big demand they're asking for.
All right, you seem to have been done. Ashutosh, is that the main problem? Because, you know, there is a popular consensus where the people who take this yatra are concerned. And one can call it the politics of poor and you only prey on, their fears, but it is there. So how do you counter something which does get popular support?
See, Preeti, ये जो पूरी की पूरी पॉलिटिक्स है ना, इसको थोड़ा लार्जर बृहत्तर संदर्भ में समझना पड़ेगा. ये पूरी पॉलिटिक्स क्या है? ये पॉलिटिक्स एक्सक्लूजन की पॉलिटिक्स है. कभी मुसलमान को एक्सक्लूड करते हैं, कभी दलित को एक्सक्लूड करते हैं, कभी पिछड़ों को एक्सक्लूड करते हैं. आपने ध्यान होगा ना, राजस्थान के अंदर एक नेता जिनका नाम ज्ञानदेव आहूजा, वहां पे लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन थे, वो दलित थे. जाके गंगा जल से साफ किया था उन्होंने. अभी पिछले दिनों में कथावाचक थे तो उनको ऊपर मूत्र का वो करा दिया और उनका मूड दिया. ये पॉलिटिक्स वही है. ये वही पॉलिटिक्स है कि जब महात्मा गांधी जब विदेश से वापस लौटे तो उनका शुद्धिकरण किया गया. ये वो पॉलिटिक्स है. सवाल ये कि ये जो मानसिकता है, ये अपने आप में हिंदू धर्म की सबसे बड़ी दुश्मन मानसिकता है. There can't be anything more inimical than this. मतलब आप इंसान को इंसान नहीं समझते, आप दलितों को दलित समझते हैं. जब अखिलेश यादव जी जब अपना मकान छोड़ देते तो गंगा जल से जाके उसको पवित्र किया जाता है. किसने किया था ये पवित्र? कौन सी पार्टी थी वो? कौन पार्टी सत्ता में आई थी? क्या जरूरत थी इस बात की? इसलिए था क्योंकि अखिलेश यादव जी उस समुदाय से नहीं आते जिस समुदाय के लोगों को पवित्र समझा जाता है। तो यहां पवित्र होने का अधिकार सिर्फ एक ही तबके के लोगों को है, बाकी लोगों को पवित्र होने का अधिकार नहीं है। और ये लोग अपने हिसाब से मनुस्मृति को देश में लागू करना चाहते हैं कि सिर्फ इनकी सत्ता बची रहे। मतलब एब्सर्ड बातें की जा रही कि अगर आप किसी दुकानदार के पास में कोई भी आदमी जाएगा, पूछे कि भाई तुम्हारा खाना क्या है, और उसको कहा जा रहा है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट है। मतलब इससे ज्यादा बकवास बात मैंने अपनी जिंदगी में कभी नहीं सुनी। कल कोई मुसलमान जाके किसी ढाबे पे पूछे कि भाई तू क्या खाना बना रहा है, बता मेरे को, उसके बाद देखो क्या होता है फिर इस देश के अंदर। हिंदू जाए, और वो भी कौन है जिसका कोई लेना देना नहीं है, तो सरकारें क्या कर रही है फिर? आप जस्ट इमेजिन, कल कोई मुसलमान जाके किसी ढाबे पे पूछे भाई तुम्हारा खाना क्या है, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है, तुम क्या कर रहे हो, पैंट उतार दे उसका, क्या होगा फिर उस देश के अंदर? आग लग जाएगी। ये जो बातें कर रहे हैं, समझ में नहीं आता क्या कर रहे हैं।
So your time is up. I'm going to give all our panelists 30 seconds each to make their point forward. I'll be closing that debate thereafter. We'll begin with the BJP spokesperson, Dr. Kushalkant Mishra. Go ahead, sir. 30 seconds. Your time begins now.
आशुतोष जी को जवाब देना चाहूंगा। आशुतोष जी ने कहा कि कोई मुसलमान जाकर के नाम पूछे और पैंट चेक करे। आशुतोष जी, हर मुसलमान आदमी जाकर के पूछता है कि हलाल फूड मिल रहा है कि नहीं मिल रहा है। और आप जैसे जो पॉलिटिकल, प्लीज मैं आपके बीच में, प्रीति प्लीज,
मैं हलाल फूड के बारे में बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं आपसे कह रहा हूं, या आपने लाइसेंस दे रखा किसी आदमी को जाके किसी घर में जाके खाना? कल आप मेरे घर में आके चेक करेंगे मैं क्या खा रहा हूं। मैं
आशुतोष जी,
प्रीति जब ये बोल रहे हैं तो बता दीजिएगा।
मिस्टर मित्रा प्लीज गो अहेड।
मेरे घर में घुस के
मिस मिश्रा, आशुतोष जी, allow him, you'll get your time.
अंदर घुस के आप मुझे बताएंगे मैं क्या खाऊंगा?
You'll get your time, sir. Please allow him. Sir, allow the same courtesy that your guests are extending. Come on, Dr. Kushalkant Mishra. Make your point. 30 seconds, sir. We'll go by the clock. Go ahead.
आपने मेरे को एक्स्ट्रा टाइम देने के लिए कहा था।
मैं 30 सेकंड फिर दे रही हूँ सर आपको, बोलिए।
प्रीति सुनिए, अभी आशुतोष, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ आशुतोष जी क्या खाएंगे। यहाँ आशुतोष जी के खाने या मेरे खाने की बात हो नहीं रही है। यहाँ पर एक पूरी कम्युनिटी, मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी, जो जाकर के जब हलाल फूड पूछ करके खाती है तो वो इनको लीगल लगता है, वो इनको सही लगता है। ये जो हिपोक्रेसी आशुतोष भाई अपने साथ लेके आते हैं, इसका जवाब किसी ने आज तक मुझे नहीं दिया। समस्या ये है कि जब समाजवादी की सरकार होती है तो शंकराचार्य को लाठियों से पूछा जाता है, इसी 84 कोसी परिक्रमा और कांवड़ यात्रा को बंद कर दिया जाता है। इनके यहाँ जब नेता अयोध्या में लड़ाई लड़ते हैं, लोकसभा लड़ते हैं, तो कहते हैं मथुरा ने काशी, अयोध्या में अवधेश पासी, अयोध्या के राजा बनाते हैं। स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य जब रामचरितमानस के ऊपर सवाल उठाते हैं, उसकी चौपाइयों को बदल। प्रीति,
You've spoken for more. 30 seconds.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, लगता है जवाब मिल गया।
Your time starts now.
Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Sir, I'll come to you in the end. Allow.
Okay. Just 5 seconds.
You know what? Okay, let Ashutosh go first. Let his 30 seconds come, and then I'll go to. Yes, go ahead, Ashutosh.
देखिए चेहरे का नकाब सामने उतर गया।
नहीं, नकाब क्या, आप बताओ ना।
Okay, sir, let's not argue now. You're doing the same thing which he did.
आपने आज
अवधेश पासी को टारगेट कर। अवधेश पासी कौन है? जनरल कैटेगरी से लड़ने वाले एक दलित उम्मीदवार है। आपको दलितों से प्रॉब्लम है, इसलिए आप अवधेश पासी का नाम लेते हैं। आप उनका शुद्धिकरण करवाएंगे कल, जो ज्ञानदेव आहूजा ने किया राजस्थान के अंदर। तो इनको अवधेश पासी से प्रॉब्लम है, इनको किसी मिश्रा चतुर्वेदी त्रिवेदी से नहीं प्रॉब्लम है।
All right, sir, your 30 seconds are over. I want to go back right now to Shantanu Gupta. Shantanu Gupta, closing comments, sir. Your time starts now.
I think I can even imagine how you guys live with such hypocrisy and double standards. None of you, and Preeti, you are also a panelist, almost the way you talk, that how you address halal. I think it's exactly the same equivalence. And the way Ashutosh ji talked about exclusion, you know, the Khatik community, the Kasai community, which is into cutting math, the Hindu community, they're out of business because of halal, which is very prevalent from last 20 years. So I don't know how you live with such double standards in your life. I think, yeah, congrats to all of you.
All right, sir. Well, if you're done, if you're asking me, these are not double standards, because there's a huge difference on what halal is and what's really taking place across the corridor of the Kanwar Yatra. What is taking place in out-and-out discrimination, where waiters who are on daily wages are being attacked on the basis of their name and religion. 30 seconds, Ghanshyam Tiwari. Ghanshyam Tiwari's 30 seconds start now, sir. Make your point.
At least act to be not.
To your viewers, I want to state that one, the halal example has a fundamental fallacy. The fallacy is you are equating things with people. It is the people who has been disrobed. It is the people whose livelihoods is in danger. It is people whose minds have been poisoned. That's one. Point number two. Hello, Kiran Rijiju. Are you in India? Are you in this world? Please get up, smell coffee, and do your thing. Otherwise, get off the chair. It is not something that you got at your birth. Point number 3, that this poisoning of India must be stopped by the Supreme Court. Prime Minister may be non-biological, but
your time's up. I'm going to leave it at that. You know, everybody has an opinion. We're going to allow our viewers to make theirs, but maybe something to ponder about. What is discrimination and what is not? You've had everybody put out their point of view.
As Tamil Nadu gears up for yet another high-stakes election, one man is making headlines. Actor-turned-politician Vijay has shut down all speculation. No alliance with the BJP, not now, not ever. In fact, the TVK Supremo has hit hard at the BJP, insisting that the Saffron Party is their ideological enemy.
சுயநல அரசியல் லாபங்களுக்காக பாஜகவுடன் கூடி குழைந்து கூட்டணி போக திமுகவோ அதிமுகவோ இல்லை. நம் தமிழக வெற்றி கழகம் கொள்கை எதிரிகள் மற்றும் பிளவுவாத சக்திகளுடன் என்றைக்கும் நேரடியாகவோ மறைமுகமாகவோ கூட்டணி இல்லை என்பதில் தமிழக வெற்றி கழகம் மிக உறுதியாக இருக்கிறது.
This has undoubtedly come as a setback for the BJP, which till last week was hinting that talks were still on with the TVK to join the NDA. In a state where politics has historically been driven by star power, Vijay's stance against all odds, much like his silver screen persona, may just strike a chord with the Tamil voter.
Taking a sharp dig at BJP, Vijay alleged that it was trying to sow seeds of poison in the state and also asserted that the BJP will never be able to win in Tamil Nadu by doing politics against the ideologies of Periyar and Annadurai. With camera person Bidesh, Anaga Keshav reporting for India Today from Chennai.
All right, cutting across to our panelists this evening, Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst, T.S. Sudhir, political analyst. Beginning with Dr. Raman. Dr. Raman, what do you make of the recent developments and what impact would it have on Tamil Nadu politics?
Look, first of all, Preeti, it looks to be an absurd call. To say that he's not contested a single election. His party has not fought an election. His political outfit is not hardly a year old. And he wants to be the chief minister of the state. He has zero political experience. I mean, there is a limit to taking the people of Tamil Nadu for a ride or to be fools. So I don't know where this is coming from. Perhaps there are pressures on him to become a vote cutter. Certainly, the fact that he is contesting alone is a setback to the BJP AIDMK alliance because the anti-DMK vote would now get split. Though, the way Vijay spoke today, also there is a possibility that some of the anti-BJP vote, which could otherwise have gone to the DMK, may go to him. But overall, it's definitely a setback for the AIDMK-BJP combined. Why he is doing this, he's not going to gain anything out of it. He may get a vote share of 10% or 12%, but he's not going to win anything. And there's no way he's going to become chief minister. So what is in it for him is the million-dollar question. Unless this is just posturing to drive a harder bargain before the election. But I don't think so, because he says this is a final decision and there is no way that it is going to change now or ever. So if he does this and does a somersault in 6-7 months, it's not going to reflect very highly on him. But having said that, the decision to the BJP actually made open invitation. This was not something which there was a veiled behind the scenes attempt. The state leaders are actually saying we would welcome him to the alliance, we would like him to come with us, and so on. So it's a snub in some ways for the BJP, but why he's doing it, it's also a move that means Vijay's immediate political ambitions are not going to go anywhere. By the way, he wants to stop the Parandur airport, the new airport expansion for Chennai. He wants to stop the expansion of Sipcot, which is an industrial park. So all of this is regressive politics, which the people of Tamil Nadu will certainly not appreciate or vote for.
T.S. Sudhir, that million-dollar question on why he said what he did, can you answer that?
Well, I don't think anyone knows Tamil Nadu better than Sumant C. Raman, but I would just want to add to what Sumant spoke about. It is positioning, it is also posturing. I think Vijay is not really looking so seriously at the 2026. He's very fond of meeting students who do very well in the board examinations, felicitating them. So to use an education metaphor, I think 2026 is like the pre-board examinations. The real examinations will come only in 2031. And I think he's preparing for a political life in Tamil Nadu post MK Stalin. And I think that's where he thinks he will have a better chance. What does he really gain by contesting this election? I think those people who would know that he's not going to become the chief minister of Tamil Nadu in the summer of 2026, but would still appreciate the novelty factor, are tired of the Dravidian brand of politics. The women vote, the youth vote, his fan vote would go for him. He's still pretty much a one-man party. We don't know of anyone else prominent enough in his party. So in that sense, it may not translate into significant number of seats, but I think he just wants to make a splash, to make a point, and he's willing to bide his time when it comes to him versus someone prominent within the Dravidian regime. So as far as Vijay is concerned, if I were to look from his point of view, I think he's positioning himself. Otherwise, why would he? Easily one of the most bankable stars in Tamil cinema on date. Why would he leave such a big purse to come and take part in the absolute uncertainties of Tamil Nadu politics? So obviously he has a plan in place, but I think that's more with another 6 years on the horizon, not immediately next summer.
Dr. Raman, would you then reckon, because there's still a lot of time, there are multiple, events that can take place. The distance between the lip and the cup is quite a bit where elections are, to come in. Do you think things can change? This kind of posturing over time is just plain posturing, because he named only DMK and BJP. The BJP might be with the AIDMK, but he didn't name the AIDMK.
No, he didn't, but he did have words of criticism for the AIDMK, which has been missing until today. The point is Preeti, that, look, had he thrown in his lot with the BJP AIDMK, the general consensus was that would have become a winning alliance. And Vijay could have found himself as a Pawan Kalyan of Tamil Nadu, right? He could have found himself within, though Pawan Kalyan did put in the hard yards for several more years than Vijay has, still he could have found himself in potentially a deputy chief minister's post in 2026. So if he's throwing that away and he's choosing to sort of contest alone or with some small minor parties, what is the game? And I honestly, there are no guarantees in politics. Mr. Vijaykanth in 2010 announced himself as a chief ministerial candidate, and we all know where that ended up. Right? So I don't think there are any certainties.
You want to weigh in on that very quickly?
Absolutely. I think announcing himself as the chief ministerial candidate is much more of a messaging to his cadre base and his fans that he means business, that he's here for the serious haul. Just as Sumant mentioned Vijaykanth. Chiranjeevi announced himself as the chief ministerial candidate in 2009 elections. He did not win many seats, and within a few years he merged his party with the Congress and happily went on to become the Union Tourism Minister. So staying power is important, and whether Vijay has that kind of staying power would really dictate whether he's really relevant in Tamil Nadu politics.
Well, we'll know that sooner than later, but I appreciate both you gentlemen for joining us. Apologies, we came to you a little late, but thank you for taking the time out.